Alright, so today we're going to be going over some of the basics for BeamNG.Drive. Let's go ahead and start out in options. So the first menu it brings you up to is the quality settings. I've got mine maxed out because I can. Um, but you've also got your display options, but the main thing is controls. If you want to change any of your bindings or anything, here's all the stuff for your vehicle. So you can go ahead and come in here if you want to change anything in there. And then if you're using an Xbox controller, I'd recommend always having your gearbox behavior set to realistic. And then I like to have the manual transmission, clutch assistant, and throttle assistant turned on for Xbox controllers. But if you're using a wheel, I'd recommend shutting those off. So if you're wanting to start a game, you just go in here to free roam. You choose a map, whichever one you want. So for today, we're going to be going to Utah, but you've got a couple other options. You can go into campaigns, which right now they've got 3 in here. And then you've got scenarios, which you've got a whole bunch for. You've got a whole lot of different scenarios in here. And these are pretty fun. They're basically like little challenges. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, you've got time trials, bus routes, light runner. I've never really played light runner all that much just because it's not really my deal. But let's just go ahead and hop into free roam. I'm going to be going to Utah today because it runs pretty good on my, well, yeah, it runs pretty good on my computer. So we'll go ahead and just start off here at the airfield. So here's your default truck that you start off with. It's just a little pickup. So you're going to go ahead and hit escape, and then you go into vehicles, and you've got a whole bunch of different vehicles and stuff in here to go ahead and try out. For this, I'm going to go ahead and hop into the hopper, which I've got a little Explorer here. So now when you've got this up, if you go ahead and hit escape, you can go into the vehicle config. And then you've got all these little drop downs here to change all your different parts and everything. So like with this one, I've got the body on, and then if I wanted to take this roof off, I would go in and I would find where it highlights over here. It'll highlight, or you can look for the name. Let's see. So instead of having the hard top, let's say I want to have no top on it, I just go ahead and put empty right there where it says roof, and that goes ahead and takes the roof off. But I'm going to throw that back on just because I like having it on there. So once you're done building your vehicle, you can go over here into tuning. And in your tuning menu, you've got all of your different shock, chassis, coilover, differentials, ECU tuning, radiator, starter, supercharger, wheel alignment, and your actual wheel, like PSI and offset and everything. So most of these options are because I've got different mods on it. But so the other thing you can do is you can go over here into your color tab, and I've got some preset colors made here, but you can choose like different manufacturer colors up here, and each one of these is a different set. So I'll go black on one of them, and then I'll go red on the other one, and then I'll go yellow on this one. So you can see it just changes different colors. And then once you've got it all set up how you want it, you can go ahead and go over here to your save and load menu, and in here you'll type in what you want to call it. So this one I've got called Explorer i6A because it's got an inline 6 in it. So you would just hit up here, it would say, so let's say I want to just call it Explorer, You go ahead and hit save, and then it would save this configuration so that it will just be there when you're ready for it. That reminds me of the other thing you gotta do. If you want to have your configurations in this menu over here for all your different vehicles, you have to come over here to the side and do include custom PC configurations. You have to go ahead and check that, because without that turned on, you won't be able to see your custom ones in here. Yeah, so you can see my custom one sitting up here. And then if I turn this off, and go back in here, you will see that I do not have any configurations or anything that I've made custom in here. It's just got the stock ones, and the ones that are in here are from mods. So I prefer to always have that turned on just so I can see my own custom ones that I've made. Speaking of mods, if you want to download mods, you go over here into the mods tab, and then you hit repository over here, and you can search for different mods. Then you have a bunch of different categories here. So like if you just want vehicles, you just deselect all of these other ones. So once those are all deselected, all you've got over here is your different vehicles that you can download. And then you've got the automation file, which is a whole bunch of different automation cars that people have made and put up here. So right now, since I've got active mods, you can go over here in the mods manager, and you will see all of the mods that you have downloaded. The ones that say deactivated just aren't active, and to reactivate them, you just hit this little minus with the cross through it here, and it'll take a few seconds, and then it'll refresh this list, and then it'll be activated. Same thing with deactivating them. You just hit this little minus button here, and it just goes ahead and deactivates it. And if you want to delete the mod, you would just hit the X here. And then once you hit that X, it'll reset it, and there you go, it's deleted. And then you've got this environment tab up here, which you have time of day, which you can adjust time of day, and then you can turn it on so that the sun moves through the sky. You've got your weather, temperature, cloud speed, cover, fog density. So you can take your fog density and bring it off all the way. You can bring it all the way up to where you can barely see anything. And the nice thing is I think that they just added in volumetric fog with the new update with the Vulkan API. But you also have your gravity here. So the more negative it is, the more gravity there is. And then you go into positives, it brings positive gravity. And then you've got different settings here too. You've got zero gravity, Earth gravity, Moon, Mars, Sun, Jupiter, Neptune, Saturn, Uranus, Venus, Mercury, Pluto, and you've even got negative Earth. Then you've got your simulation speed here, which you have, it basically just increases or decreases the speed of the game. Alright, and then you've got photo mode, which you can use all of your settings over here to just adjust how your photos come out. And then UI apps is pretty nice. So if you want like this little thing that I've got right here, you can go into edit apps, and then you can move them around, and you have this little check box here in the side that says hide in cockpit. So if you go into your first person view it will get rid of all of those. So if you're outside, you have all your apps up, and then if you go in, it will get rid of them. We turn off the day-night cycle. Good sunrise. And then if you want to add apps, just hit add app. And you've got all of these different ones in here that you can use. Whole bunch of different apps. Alright. I think that about covers all of that. Oh yeah, they added in the map feature too. So you can see I'm here, and then if I wanted to go, say, over here, I would click that, click set route, and then it draws out a little route for me. And then it's got these little marks over here on the side, or it's got these little marks on the road. To show you where your route is. So the next thing is if you want to hook up trailers, go into your vehicles, and since this is a lifted vehicle, I'm going to put on a special trailer for it. It's you've got your different trailers down here, and I'm going to use this one's a large box utility, but I've got a mod that allows me and so if you just double click it like that, it'll replace your current vehicle. But if you want to add it in, you can go into here, whichever vehicle you want to select, and you click on it once and you just hit spawn new, and that will spawn a second vehicle in. So now for hooking up the trailers, you want to hit L on your keyboard, which will bring up this little pink bubble here. If it's bumperable, then you just go ahead and back right up to it. And there we go, we're hooked up. So the other nice thing about these trailers is they have added in a lot of new features where you can open up your doors and everything now, and that applies for the trailers too. So if you hit tab, you can switch between vehicles, and when you're moving around with your mouse, if you see the little blue box, you just click on it, and that opens or closes whatever you are selecting. Maybe. There we go. Alright, so that's about the basics of BeamNG. Other than that, it's pretty much normal controls and everything else. One other thing that I want to show you real quick. If you go ahead and quit, when you first start the game, it'll pull up this little menu here. Just give it a second. They'll pull up this little menu here. So I'm using the Vulkan API. It's the new rendering API, but it works really nice and it looks really nice. The original is this first one here. So if you're trying to have it be real nice and stable, and everything works all the time, just go to launch. But if you want to try out the new one with the better graphics, go ahead and go launch Vulkan. In my experience, the Vulkan API takes longer to load on the loading screens, but it spawns everything in like you're already just in the game. But if you use the original, it'll load everything faster. But once you get put in, it will take a few seconds for it to be able to render all of the scenery and everything. But that's about it for BeamNG Drive.